everyone, welcome back to Let's Go to Be a Java Programmer. And I'm thrilled to have you here for day 2. Yesterday, we talked about the importance of learning Java and set up a coding environment. Today, we'll dive into the Java execution flow and write our very first Java program using jshell. In order to understand how Java program runs, let's walk through the Java execution flow. So we have our hardware here, which can either be our computer or laptop. And on top of it, we have our OS, operating system. So it can be even Linux, Windows, Mac OS, or anything. And on top of this, we have our JVM, which is Java Virtual Machine. And with the help of this, we will be running our Java codes, which is JVM interpreter. So now how this JVM will understand the code what we write? Let's say here is a coder. He's the coder. He writes a Java code. He writes a Java code. Now this Java code will be understood by humans, but how will this be understood by JVM? And that's what happens here. When we compile this code, Java code, Java C. So basically it is a compiler. What this compiler does is, it generates a bytecode. Now this bytecode is understood by JVM, which is Java Virtual Machine. And that's how this entire flow works. Now one thing which we must know is, now JVM is a component which is inside JRE. Now JRE is nothing but it is a Java runtime environment. And again, this Java runtime environment is inside the component called JDK. JDK. Now the entire flow goes from here. The coder writes the code, Java code, and when he or she compiles it, it generates a bytecode. Now this bytecode is understood by the JVM, which is inside a JDK. And then it is on top of operating system and then the hardware. Now this is the entire flow. Now that we have understood the execution flow, let's move on to writing a first Java program using jshell, which is an interactive tool for learning and prototyping in Java. Now open your command prompt or your terminal and type jshell. Let's do it together and press enter to start the jshell session. Now let's write a hello world program. Here's how we do it. We write the print method. So method is something which is there in every Java program, and JVM, that is what I've shown you. This JVM first executes the method. So system.out.print. Now this is a print method which is already inbuilt in Java. So using this we will be printing whatever we want. Now let me print number 6, system.out.print, and it requires a semicolon in order to show that it ends the statement here. Now when I give enter, it prints the integer 6. Now let me print hello world. Hello world. And yes, this is how jshell works. Now jshell is a REPL, which means it's a read, eval, print loop tool, which is introduced in Java 9. It allows us to run Java code snippets and see immediate results, which is great for learning and testing. Now, we cannot be using this jshell throughout a learning process because it's just for testing out the snippets. In order to develop projects, we must use the Java, either in VSCode or the notepad editor, anything. But the use of this jshell is just to test the environment or for testing the code snippets, and that's it. Now that we've played around with jshell, now let's move on to writing first Java program in VSCode. We'll write a classic hello world program. Now let's open our a VSCode editor and open a folder which I created in my desktop. You should create your own folder and then create a Java file. And what we have to first do here is we have to name the Java file with .java extension. Now, as we have learned in other in other programming languages like Python, we save the Python file as .py, C file as .c, and same goes here. We save the Java file as .java. And now let's type system.out.println as what we have done there in the shell. Hello world with a semicolon. Now here it shows an error. The reason why it shows an error is, as I said earlier, in jshell we can use it for testing out the snippets, but it cannot be used throughout here in other VS Code or the other editors for developing Java projects. So for that we need one main method, and for that we will be using public static void main. This is called the main method, which will be used throughout, and string args. We need to pass an argument, and that's why we have this. Now here, instead of args, you can store it as anything like ABC or A or whatever. But for now, let me keep it as args. Open curly braces. Now after every curly braces, you can give a tab space in order to make this code look even more neat. But here still shows an error, right? You know why this error? Because Java is an object oriented programming language. So here everything must be inside a class. So objects here must be inside a class, and here this is the object. For this we need to create a class. Class hello. We need to name the class as the file name. So the file name and the class name must be the same. Let's give a tab space here. Class must be in small case. Now open your terminal. Make sure the Java folder is opened here. And now in order to compile it, give java c space hello.java. Enter. If our code has no flaws, then it's fine. If our code has any other errors, then it throws other errors. Now it's okay. After compiling, now we need to run the Java code. How we will be running the Java code is java space the file name. Enter. To show an error. Let me see why the error is. Could not find or load main class hello. We have came across an error, right? So that error was basically because of the folder name which we kept as Java. So I've changed the folder name to course. So since Java is the keyword in Java language, we are not supposed to use it as a file name or as a folder name. And that's why we encountered such error, and I've rectified it. Now let's compile the program once again. Yeah. Now let's run it. Hello world. And this is the output. And you can notice here there's another file which is created as hello.class, and this is what is known as the byte file, which is I've showed you in the execution flow, right? The Java code which we write is after the compilation process gets transformed into a byte code which can be understood by the JVM. So this is the byte file which is created after the compilation process. And yes, here is our first Hello World program. That's it for day 2. Today we explored jshell and wrote our first Java program. Keep practicing these steps to get comfortable with the basics. Tomorrow we'll dive deeper into Java syntax and start exploring variables and data types. Make sure to spend 15 minutes today practicing what we have covered. Thank you for joining me on day 2 of Let's Code to be a Java programmer. Remember, consistency is key, so keep coding every day. If you find this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified about our daily coding sessions. See you tomorrow for day 3. Happy coding!